that's the wonder of devotional reading, is that God will be there. Show up for 5 minutes, God's going to meet you and be so glad that you did. Hi, my name is Heather Jepsen. I am a pastor in a small town in Missouri. I've been in ministry for 20 years, and I just love reaching out to people with the Word of God and helping people find God in their daily lives. And on the side, I'm an animal chaplain, which is a new way of doing ministry with people and their pets. So I am really, really passionate about helping people find God in the midst of their daily lives. I think recently I am leaning heavily on one of my favorite verses, which is Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. That's been super helpful for me, especially in this time of sort of social upheaval and unease. I feel that strong desire, like I need to do something or fix something, or that somehow I'm not doing enough. And this psalm really reminds me that God is God. Like, I can leave things for God. Yeah, I can offer things to God in prayer and really know that God's got that. And then I can leave that there. It's also helpful in my family life too. I have 2 teenagers right now, so there's a lot of stress at home. And so it's helpful too to be able to take those kind of prayer concerns to God and just leave them right there. I started writing devotions in 2020 during the pandemic when churches were closed. At that time, my church, I'm a pastor, and my church switched to 100% online worship. And people were also feeling very untethered and lost. And so at that time, I started writing weekly devotionals for my personal congregation. Every Wednesday, I would write what I call the midweek message from Pastor Heather, and would send those out to everybody via email and post them on social media. And so I started writing devotions for that smaller audience. And while I was doing that, I saw a listing for Guideposts looking for writers for all God's creatures. And I'm a huge animal lover. I'm actually an animal chaplain, which is a new field of ministry. And so I was like, that's right up my alley. So I auditioned for that and started writing first for all God's creatures. And from there, it's just really grown. I think living the Word is kind of an internalizing of the story and the scriptures as a whole. And so when you're in your everyday life, that referencing for how can I rely on the scriptures? Living the Word is something that comes, this book is a great way to get started in really having a familiarity with the scriptures. But I think of living the Word as a really deep familiarity. So when you're in those moments of crisis, you're reaching for a psalm that speaks to you. Living the Word is a way to be grounded in God's message for us of hope and love and grace every day, even in the midst of all the struggles that we have. I really enjoyed working on the introduction because I'm writing the introduction for Living the Word and thinking again about those ideas of how do I, as a pastor, every Sunday I'm trying to make the scriptures come alive for my congregants and make them feel relevant, for their lives today. If we're reading a story that's thousands of years old, I want it to feel relevant to you in 2025. And so I think that was really my goal in the introduction as well. How do we take this beautiful thing we have that is the Bible and make it really meaningful for today and make it really applicable to the challenges of our own lives and speak to us? I think a lot of the reason people turn away from the faith is because they feel like it's irrelevant or it doesn't speak to my modern situation. And I think if we look at the context of which the stories are told, and then compare that with our own context, then we find a lot of spots where it does speak to us and can be really helpful for us in the struggles we have in our lives today. So one that I shared that I really like is using Paul's really famous treatise on love from 1 Corinthians. And we hear that so much at weddings, that love is patient, love is kind. It's almost at every wedding you go to. And instead of looking at that as about a relationship between two people, in my devotion, I'm looking at that as a relationship of a group of people, of a church as a whole. And that's a lot harder to do. How do we all work together as a whole group of people in love? And really, when Paul is writing that letter, that's what he's talking about. He's talking about the whole church community together, being patient, being kind, being gracious, being, all those things that we strive to be when we are following Jesus. And so for me, that's really a meaningful devotional and a really how I work my job. I mean, being a church pastor is really hard because God brings all these random people together and you have to figure out how to try to keep them all in one flock. And so for me, that working from love as a parishioner when I am in a church and also as a pastor is really, really important. I think living the word is different from some of the other offerings of Guideposts because it dives deeper into the text itself. And so a lot of times Guideposts will start, like the devotions for Guideposts will start at our life level and then tie that into a text. And living the word's different because it starts with the word and then it takes that word and ties it to your life. And so it's at a different depth, a different level of relationship with the scriptures than other Guidepost offerings are. Devotional reading is an excellent faith practice in our current time and place because we are so busy and we're so overwhelmed. There are so many demands on our time from the moment we wake up, if our phone's buzzing in the morning to the moment we go to bed at night. We are constantly being pulled in so many different directions. And what's so wonderful about devotional reading is that it doesn't take very long. It doesn't take very long at all. Even these longer devotions that are in Living the Word, like 5 minutes, put the book, on your table where you eat breakfast every day, and with your cup of coffee, there it is. And you can have 5 minutes every morning with Jesus or with God or with your faith or with reflection, and it sets the whole tone for your day. I think a lot of times people neglect their faith practices because they think it's supposed to be, well, I'm supposed to have an hour of contemplative prayer, or I'm supposed to have this list of all these things I do. And it becomes so daunting that we just do nothing and then we feel guilty. And I think devotional reading is so accessible. It's such a great entry point. Like, this is the door to a deeper relationship with God. All it takes is 5 minutes a day. And God will meet you there. That's the wonder of devotional reading, is that God will be there. Like, show up for 5 minutes, God's going to meet you and be so glad that you did. I would say if you're just starting out, approach things with an open mindset for the book itself, but also for you, right? That there's going to be some devotionals that don't resonate with you, and that's totally okay. And there's going to be some days where you don't have those 5 minutes to read that devotional, and that's okay too. That we really have to stop approaching our spirituality and our faith from a place of expectations and demands on ourselves and start approaching it from a meeting with God. Don't get yourself so worked up expectation-wise, and instead embrace what comes. Give yourself the grace to see what is there for you, and give the authors the grace too. They're coming from their place, their own life story. And so, like I said, though, if you didn't like one, try the next one. That's the joy of reading Guideposts. I hope readers take away that God is with us even when life doesn't work out. A lot of my devotions in this book are about when things are hard or things just aren't working. Sometimes we tell ourselves a story that if we are people of faith and life is just going to be great, like God's going to line it all up and it's going to be awesome. And sometimes that happens and sometimes that doesn't. Sometimes life is really hard. And so I hope that people would take from my devotions that sense of even when life is hard, God is with us. And maybe especially when life is hard, God is with us. That those are the points where our faith grows the deepest, is those moments when we're in struggle. And everybody has hard moments. That's something I've learned so much as a pastor, is that everybody has a story. And God is with us in those stories. And God journeys with us through those dark times and brings us to joy and love and peace.